Hello and welcome to NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, today we're in conversation with Dr. Swamy. We've again got our favorite guest back after a slightly long gap, I think. But Dr. Swamy, welcome to this conversation. And today I really want you to focus on what is happening in Afghanistan and our reactions. What should India do? You know, now there seems to be a Taliban, just a matter of days when a Taliban government will be in place. So it looks like we have no choice but to do business with the Taliban, to talk to them either through back channels or whatever. I can see things are going as you predicted, not a happy note for us, but unfortunately that's what's happening.
I would say, why do you want to talk to the Taliban? What is it that they are going to give you? We have only very few Indians left. They are not going to kill them. And especially in this circumstance, you will get a chance to bring them back once they open the airport. So this craze that some of you are great negotiators and, you can talk to anybody and you can open and so on, making us look more and more ridiculous. Do you know that this Qatar meeting is a joke of the world? Because Taliban has, made a press conference. The same person who went to the Indian embassy, he has made a press conference later. Press spokesman of Taliban has said, we met this, but there's no mention of India. There were two quads that met, one called by the Americans, the other called by the Russians. Pakistan was there and China was there in both. India nowhere. So, I mean, what is this you're running around? I mean, it's a very tragic thing. I can give an example, a comparative example, but that will only make people feel more, upset. The fact is that we are looking ridiculous in the world. What our policy should be is you got to decide when Taliban is ready to come to you, then I can understand, okay, you want to find out, but they must come to you. And they must, even in this Qatar thing, they say that Taliban came to us. But then what did we discuss? How to get the Indians out, what to do about the furniture in the in our embassy. I mean, you see what our ambassador said. There's nothing about what the Taliban wanted from us. They didn't ask for our recognition. So I find this government very, sorry to say, it's my government in the sense that I'm a member of the party which has floated this government. They are looking pathetic world over. And very soon you're going to have Xi Jinping in BRICS meeting in Delhi in sometime this month or maybe next month. We are going to get S-400 delivered. And that's the end.
Still thinking we should walk out from the BRICS and just align ourselves with the US after the way the US has left the situation?
Don't align with the US.
What is the right word? What should we do?
You have already got into Quad. That's another matter. But tell the US we intend to protect our frontiers. And therefore, we need a very strong military. If necessary, we may have to fight Taliban, China, and Pakistan together. And we have the manpower, we have got the ability, we got the terrain mapped out, and therefore give us the weapons. The Americans will give you the weapons. If they are not able to get weapons from the Americans, I am ready to negotiate on behalf of India. But I know for a fact that the Americans would like some force which would teach China in particular a lesson. And we have not, we have still, there's no official statement of either the Prime Minister or the Defense Minister or the Foreign Minister that China is the aggressor in the across the LAC. They haven't said it. But the Chinese are laughing away. The only people that Chinese seem to take seriously is me, because they are attacking me in their television as a madman, this man who wants a war and so on. They are not taking the notice of anybody else in the Indian ruling party. The only person they are talking about is me. Why? Because they feel that I am resonating with the public. The public feels totally humiliated by what the Chinese have done, and then what the Pakistanis have been doing. And now we come running from Afghanistan. People feel very bad about that. So there's a Northern Alliance which is fighting them. Why don't you help them? Even if we lose, doesn't matter. You help them. Because you can come in from the other side, you see, through Azerbaijan and in all those Muslim countries which are separated from Soviet Union. They don't need for you to go through Pakistan or thing to reach the Northern Alliance mountains. So we have no concrete policy except the spin that somebody met somebody. Somebody rushed off to the United States, had a talk. The Americans even have not cared to send you an ambassador. Is there an ambassador in Delhi? No. He's been saying, I'll come tomorrow, day after, tomorrow, day after. Is almost 7 months have gone. So please understand your status. Your status has come down like the Indian economy. It has also come down. And you build your status, have some self-respect. 1 or 2 battles with the Chinese where they'll get thrashed. I'm telling you, we are very strong there in that terrain. We can beat them. Chinese will escalate. Well, let them escalate. Then, then a new situation is created in the world. So,
what is your biggest fear? Sorry, Doctor.
My biggest fear is that Pakistan, Afghanistan, that is Taliban, and China will work for dismembering Kashmir from India.
That will be the first target.
That will be the first step. And if it is not this winter, it will be next winter. I mean, before the next winter. And they know in what difficulties we are in. They know that how decisions are being made in our government. They think that nobody here is, they have there's no blueprint as to what we will do. If A happens, we'll do B. If C happens, we'll do D. Nothing of that. No cost-benefit analysis, no options, nothing. We are just moving from one tea party to another tea party.
There's one view that is that let's have elections and a local government in place in Kashmir before the Taliban, gets their act together. And obviously, at least there's a local government.
Why? Do you think that anyone will believe you? I mean, do you think that the local government is going to fight for you? Is the Indian Jawans will have to go? Does Kashmir have an army? Does Kashmir even have a BSF unit? How many Kashmiris are in our police? I mean, national police, the IPS, so on. These are all these, this is the problem. But all these are what they call as spins, you see. We had an election, big deal. If this is your country, who the hell are anybody to tell you anything? Tell everybody, sorry, till the Taliban problem is over, Kashmir shall remain as a part of the president's rule. That would be the way to do it. So I think, let's not do all these steps, what is they call it, the atmospheric tests.
Fractions, huh?
Do the concrete thing, defeat them one place. One of them should be given a thorough defeat. And the easiest one for us in terms of logistics is China.
You're still maintaining that.
Absolutely. I know the Chinese, they have bluffed you. Now they want Bagram Air Base to be given to them. They're cool customers. Look at the way they are extracting from Taliban, step by step, while keeping aloof and giving speeches.
Where do you see the biggest, the drawback? Talk about the American pullout. Do you think the Americans could have handled some things better? India could have stepped in earlier. You've been saying that for a while now. Why the sudden decision? The way the Americans pulled out.
If you ask me what the Americans could have done in the end of July, of course, there's nothing to be done. That's all the plot was laid out, how to proceed. They had already negotiated, they come to a conclusion, and the Taliban was totally enthused. And they were moving upwards from Kandahar. We also ran. What did we do? Cut and run in Kandahar. Close down the embassy, and then I don't know who's got the embassy now, the building. So if you ask me, did the Americans do the correct thing by withdrawing? The answer is yes. Americans should not have continued beyond the 10 years. But then the Americans should have decided that we will leave some other forces which can be of assistance. But what happened is the Americans believed, that is their philosophy, that with money you can get anything done. And the Asians are in particular very smart people. They can put up a show, but they will take your money. And so all the money of the Americans has gone waste. And their equipment has also gone waste. So when they left, it looked like it was a disgrace. But they had to leave because they have been there already 20 years. And look at the Soviets, they left in much worse conditions, but nobody remembers that. The Soviet Union came in 1979 and had to leave in 1992 or 93. I went, in fact, as part of the Chandrasekhar government, I went at the request of the then president called Najibullah, who invited me to, I went to Afghanistan, I went to Kabul, I went to some of the neighboring areas also. And people were telling me Taliban is there, Taliban is there. But this Najibullah was a fighter. But the Russians ditched him, and the Indians refused to cooperate with him. And even to buy almonds from Afghanistan, which was much sweeter and tastier than the almonds we are getting from America. But there was a commitment to President Ronald Reagan that his farm in California will buy all the almonds that are being built there by Rajiv
Gandhi.
And Rajiv Gandhi called me up when I was a minister. Please don't do this. I said, it's much cheaper and sweeter to get it from Afghanistan. He said, no, I've made a commitment.
Dr. Swamy, what is it about Afghanistan that makes it so unconquerable? What is it the land, the politics?
Yeah. And you also said before this break that you will talk about Pakistan. Let me now be constructive instead of making fun of my own government. I have to. Their policy is wrong. Number one, please don't say that nobody can defeat Afghanistan, the Afghans, because Maharaja Ranjit Singh did defeat them. And he ruled there. He brought that Somnath temple's door, a golden door. He picked it up, brought it here. He had the Kohinoor with him. I mean, why don't we celebrate that? I don't see anybody talking about it. This was the greatest victory. And then there were so many others in Tibet and so on, all that region. So it requires an army like the Indian army to defeat these Afghanis, not these guys coming from a long distance. The Russians coming, they don't even look like the local people. Our people sing music. Our music is so appealing to our local people. People want to come and study here. I mean, there are a lot of affinities. After all, if you go to Mahabharata, you will see Gandhari was from there, which you call Gandhari. Gandhar, we used to call Kandahar Gandhar. And so was Shakuni. So,
Before you get distracted on the Shakuni angle, I'm going to bring you back.
No,
what you were thinking.
For the parallels. So, point number one, India can defeat Taliban, if it puts its might into it by helping those who are fighting them, the non-alliance to begin with. And Americans will give you all the weapons that you need, aircrafts, just write what you want and they'll give it to you. They'll be so pleased by our doing that, number one. As far as Pakistan is concerned, why don't you declare an emigre government of Baluchistan in Delhi? There are so many Baluchis. Give them a house on Ashoka Road or something. I think Amit Shah has vacated one house. So
you already found a place for him. Okay.
So you give them a proper house, give them, let them have press conferences of these people, give them their own country. It was their own country. It was forcibly taken from them. They didn't sign the instrument of accession. Then the Pathans were always with us from Ghaffar Khan onwards. And today the Pathans are divided into two, one who are with Afghanistan, one who are in Pakistan suffering. So Pakhtunistan, we will set up an emigre government of Pakhtunistan. And they are going to do about Kashmir. They are doing all kinds of things in Kashmir. Why don't we do something in Pakistan? And do these two steps and give Chinese a ground level beating in Ladakh. You are a world power.
You're saying take the offensive for once and not wait.
I'm not saying I'm contracting it because we've got a TV program, which I can't put everything in. But of course, I'm just giving you the objectives, the priority, the strategy, the resources. These are all things that I have to work out and present elaborately. But today I'm saying you don't even have objectives. What are your objectives? The Taliban and you will join together and will be a master stroke of the Prime Minister. This is all our External Affairs Ministry is doing. They asked for permission. They came to our embassy, but we asked all, we begged them for giving this and so on. And it's a master stroke of the Prime Minister. So the issue is, please don't go into all that. If you want me to tell you constructive policy, start with declaring Baluchistan as an independent country. So we had enough of yours. Hand over POK or we are declaring it. Second is that start feeding Pakhtunis that we are ready to create a country for you also, which is called Ghaffar Khan's last wish. Will fulfill it. Tell the Northern Alliance we will create a situation by which we can supply you and you can come also for rest recuperation. And we will also give you advisors. They are still, with a handful, they are giving a hard time to the Taliban, by the way. It's not getting reported. And so there are steps. And don't think that the Americans will then keep us. The Americans just think we talk, do nothing. Because I speak to the Americans. I've been with them. I've been in their country for 10 long continuous years for teaching them economics. And so I know so many people. Some of them have become my students, have now entered into the State Department. They tell me very frankly, what is it that you're trying to say to us? We don't understand. They're not talking about me. They're talking about my government. We haven't told them. That's why they haven't sent their ambassador, because we don't know where we stand. So this clarity has to come. And that clarity can only come if the Prime Minister changes his style from wanting obedient advisors to people who work as his colleagues. This is the major flaw in decision-making today in India. That Prime Minister doesn't have a group of like-thinking people giving him different opinions and then debating it and coming to a conclusion.
One last question on Pakistan, apart from, the thing, do you think that they stand to gain from what is happening in Afghanistan, or can the Taliban also turn on them?
They are getting what they call is a psychological a binge. They are on a psychological binge. You see, suddenly they're from a failed state, collapsing state, there's that. Suddenly they are now, and Islam has also come into that picture. Islam, it's a victory of Islam. And then they spread this lie that Afghanistan being Islamic, nobody can defeat it. Nobody can defeat the Islamic government, which is rubbish. The Hindus had defeated. Hindus defeated Islam even in India. It took us a long time, but in the end, we defeated them. There's no sign or you can't find a descendant of the Mughals. Can you find them? No. I can find the Rana Pratap's descendants. I can find defendants of the Cholas and the Pandyas, and I can find they're all there. The Marathas, in fact, their descendant is a member of parliament. So consequently, this the way we went about it in the end, and Guru Gobind Singh, the amount of victories he got, nobody mentions. Ranjit Singh, as I mentioned. Then there were others also who went to Tibet, who captured, liberated Ladakh. So many, but we are not teaching these things to our people. We are being taught that we will only get defeated. That's all. So please, peace, 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 peace.
But sorry, I know I said last question, but how do we see us moving ahead with Biden, in terms of...
Biden, you don't have to worry about, because American decision-making is not dependent on the president. Only the idiom is dependent on the president. They have teams, they have people who do what in Sanskrit we call as manthan. There's a churning that goes on, ideas, position papers circulated, and all that. And Biden is finally given a set of sentences to speak in the thing. But where he has to, they give him options. Do we delay quitting Afghanistan, or do we go on a firm date? There the president has to make a decision. And he's made the decision. He wants to get out. He's got it out in a clumsy way. He hasn't prepared these people adequately, but he has done what has to be done.
All those who say that, people who were laughing at Trump are now, they've got their answer in Biden, that, Biden's turned out to be worse than Trump. Would you agree with that?
I don't, no, this whole negotiations with Taliban was Trump's idea, where he didn't call the government of Afghanistan to be present in the meeting. You know that this Qatar thing was started by Trump. Well, yes, the difference between Trump and Biden is Biden stuck to a line till the end. And this guy, you see, he would have made course corrections on a daily basis. So that was the difference. But the fact of the matter is that both were intent on getting out. They were doing cost-benefit analysis and saying, no, the cost is too high and the benefit is too low.
That's the American way. We saw it in Iraq also.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, what about Vietnam? I mean, you saw the pathetic scene of going on rope ladders up the helicopter from the embassy building roof.
Correct.
And that too by half-naked North Vietnam troops. So I'm telling you, this cost-benefit analysis mentality of the Americans, you have to understand it. You have to deal with it. You have to shape your policy in that way. But the fact of the matter is that they have no emotional attachment to any goal. It produces the results we wanted. Doesn't, we get out.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy. I can see the time is up for a very candid conversation as usual. Thank you so much for this, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.